Okay, so so I'm going to go through about 8 different steps. One is, what is your why? And really only 10 to 15% of agents create a business plan, and the rest just kind of wing it. And if you ask somebody, I can guarantee if you go out and you ask, not probably within Keller Williams, because we push our numbers and our businesses so to be business owners so much, but if you go out and ask another agent that maybe you're co-oping with, hey, how many homes did you sell next year? They'll be like, yeah, I think it was like 6, maybe 8. I can't remember. That's not a business owner, right? That's winging it. So we want to write down what our business plan is. And our business plan is real simple. It's the GPS, the MREA2, and the 411. We've got those 3 tools to use. And I like to keep them simple. And anybody who wants a simplified 411, I'm glad to send it to you, the one from Bold. So it's also important to say, why am I doing this? And what can I get out of the next 12 months? And based on the lifestyle I want to live, how much time am I willing to invest? Can I invest 10 hours a week? Can I invest 40 hours a week? What am I willing to do? And that's another part of being realistic. And then set a target. We do this automatically at Keller Williams too. Break your vision into a 1-year, 3-year, and 5-year segments, and then break it down into monthly, weekly, and daily goals. And we help with that too. That's all the tools that we use. So the 3 annual goals is also a really good thing to do. So you want to know a bare minimum. What do I need to do? How much money do I need to make so that I can live? You know, just to pay my bills, just to make sure I can keep going, just to make sure I have gas money, I can go to the movies once in a while. What is that bare minimum? So when you figure out your expenses and your budget, that's a number that you can know that you have to have. And that's a good number to know. And then know what a great goal would be for you, something that would maybe allow you to go on 2 or 3 family vacations, going first class on an airplane and staying in a nice 5-star resort or an all-inclusive resort or whatever your idea for, maybe it might be camping in an RV or, you know, whatever your idea for a vacation is. What is that great goal that will allow you to do some extra things? And I'm placing this on being selfish because I think we can be altruistic all day long. But when I wake up in the morning, my first thought is of helping my family, right? And then my thought goes to how many people can I help? So I'm making these goals. Don't be afraid to be selfish. And it's not selfish, it's being realistic. So, and then maybe you want to do a crazy goal, a why not goal. Like, I want to sell $1 million this year. I want to have $1 million in GCI this year. Why not? It's been done. It's been done. There are agents who have actually earned $1 million in their first year. So set that crazy big goal too. And then it just gives you kind of a measure of, when you look between the 3, okay, I'm hitting my bare minimum. Ooh, now I'm hitting my great goal. Ooh, I'm on my way to that why not goal. So I think it keeps us a little bit more inspired and also grounded in reality of what we have to do. So 3 is break it down into weekly goals. 4 is break it down into daily goals. I think having an action, at least one action every day, that 1% that we talked about in Bold, improving by 1% every day. What is it? 2 degrees that takes water from non-boiling to boiling, or 1 degree? I think it's 1 degree, right? It takes water from boiling to not boiling to boiling. So all we have to do, and it's 1 degree, many cases, that makes an Olympian earn the gold medal or the horse wins the race. It's one increment of a second that sometimes is the difference. And that's all we have to do on a daily basis. And what that looks like is, I read 1 page in a book today that I learned something about that I didn't know, or I made 1 more call than I thought I could make, or I lifted 1 more weight than I thought I could lift, or I focused for 10 minutes, and I didn't focus every other day this week, but I focused 10 minutes today on something specific. That's all that 1% is. So any questions around that?
No, I like the way that you broke it down into smaller entities. That helped.
Yeah, good. So, and then stay accountable. And what we learned yesterday in Bold is accountability is awareness. And especially in PC coaching, so many people are reluctant to record their numbers, and it's because they don't like to see zeros. But all of us have zeros. I mean, all of us have zeros. I've been done 2 listing appointments, and I'll have those listings, but this week I'm reporting zeros, right? that's okay. And that's just, it's a way for me to track, am I converting? Am I not converting? So there, it's awareness and it's not punitive. Don't think of it as something you have to do. Think of reporting your numbers as something you get to do. And eventually, if you're in coaching or not, you want to report those numbers to yourself, just so that you know where you are. And then 7 is track lead sources. This is a really important one. I think I shared this morning, being very transparent, that when I had my team before, it looked like I was making a ton of money, but I was making about the same as I was as a single agent, because I had so many more expenditures. And I was still doing the bulk of the work because I didn't do career visioning, and I hired people that needed help instead of people that were going to grow the business. So, and that was where I was then. That's okay. But if I had tracked, and I was very independent. I'm going to say that too. I was very independent. I was like, Keller Williams, all that stuff. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do it my way. And so I did it my way. And I look at Joanne Curtin team and where she is now and where I am now. And I think, I should have paid attention way back when. It'd be totally different right now. So I want you to learn from my mistakes, but tracking your numbers. So for instance, if you, we talked a little bit about that this morning, if you door knock 3 neighborhoods, and at the end of the month, you haven't gotten any business or made any headway or don't have people added to your database, either your follow-up needed some work, or you needed to door knock a neighborhood that was maybe more likely to have sellers. Maybe you door knocked the neighborhood that was too new, right? Because we know that people stay in their homes 5 to 7 years. So maybe you need to find a neighborhood that's 7 years or older to door knock. So we can evaluate based on your tracking of where you're spending your money and your time, and how it's converting for you. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means that something needs to be tweaked. And that's one of the things we in coaching can definitely help you with. Then also, and I'm going to say it again. This, if you said I'm going to have 3 listings this month, buyer or seller, and I door knocked every single, or I did open houses every single weekend, and I didn't get the results I wanted. Well, don't downsize to next month to say, I only want to get 1 listing. Still go for the 3 listings, and just let's tweak what you're doing to get those listings. And then I always finish in half an hour, but we're going to have half an hour for questions and talk. Have a plan B. And this is about the market, because right now it's a seller's market. So you might want to be focusing on sellers, right? Focusing on listings, sending out those golden letters, or door knocking to see who needs homes to sell, or using the strategy of, if you've sold a home, or if you partner with an agent and you're doing an open house and the home sells, and then you know that the home had 10 offers, you get to door knock and say, you know what, that home down there, it's sold, but we had 9 offers. And so there's 8 buyers that didn't get to buy a home who raised their hand and said they want to live in this community. Do you know anybody who wants to sell in this community? Because we've got the buyers for it. And so you can door knock and create your sellers that way, using some of those strategies and piggybacking off of other agents' listings. But also our market's going to change. We're anticipating that there will be a flood of foreclosures on the market. Now, I'm not sure how that will bear out. There may be some more help for people who are in foreclosure, but a lot of people in forbearance are going to be in foreclosure. And when that changes, our market will have a lot more homes on the market. Our inventory will change. The balance of seller to buyer will shift. And so if there are a lot of foreclosures on the market, your plan B might be that you're going to start courting asset managers of banks and mortgage institutions, and there's strategies to do that. And then you build an REO business where you're just listing those houses for the banks. I tell you what, it's a paperwork driven business, but it's a fairly easy business because there's no emotion. It's the banks are just all about the numbers. Yeah, the numbers work, great. They're not going to say, no, my home is worth so much more. It's all bottom line for them. So
how do you do that? Like,
Candace, question. I was just going to say this, like, how do you get in with those asset managers?
So you can Google, there are webinars online for how to do that, but you can Google how to connect with asset managers in Georgia. Google is my brain. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything. Before I do a class for you all, I get online and I see what other people are saying and doing, and then I add it to what I know. So here's asset management guidance. Let me share my screen. Let's see. Okay, here's videos. Okay, let me share my, I have my wrong, I have my wrong browser up, but can you see, I just Googled how to connect with asset managers in Georgia. And here are some videos. Asset management, how to set up, find asset managers, REO and non-performing loans, how to manage asset management. So this is probably the one I'm going to watch right here. You can also get lists of asset managers. There are free lists and there's lists that you can buy. And what was suggested to me is you're going to build relationships with them just like you're going to build relationships with anyone else. So a good way to, once you find, and you can go into LinkedIn and type in asset managers in Georgia, and you'll find some people there too. And then you start, you get on their Facebook page and you start liking their comments, you start liking their posts, you start, just start. And then maybe you send them a letter and say, I would love to get together and provide some value for you and see what would be the best way I can provide value. And then, what do you need that I can do, and find that out. And I would also Google that so that you can go in and maybe say, hey, this is what I can do for you. And this is what my expertise is. I'm going to provide an appraisal. I'm going to provide this. I'm going to provide a cleaner. I'm going to make sure the signs are there, all the things that we can do. And I'll do a class on this, so we won't get too much into that since I hear some interest. But anyway, you can do some Googling on your own as well. But start building the relationships with asset managers now, because I can promise you when those foreclosures hit the market, there are going to be a slew of agents who are like, me. And you want to be the one who's already built the relationship. So they're like, no, you. So that's what I would do.
Okay. So
okay, thank you.
When you say with the foreclosures, because I know these people, they have equity in their house now. Are we foreseeing a lot of foreclosures for the last quarter of 2021, or is this something that's going to kind of transpire in 2022? And being that we have no inventory on the market as it is, will it even result in looking like it's a slew of foreclosures or whatever? Because we're so far behind, how do we get above the curve when we're less than a month?
Oh, good question. So right now, our best thing is to find off-market properties. Even though it seems like we have 3 or 4 agents in our office who are sending the golden letters every month, I don't know very many people who have ever received a letter saying, hey, are you willing to sell? The team meeting this past week or the week before, I think, was it John Serrano who talked about how they have tweaked their letter. So I've committed to sending out 200 letters a month. And I went to my past database and I asked who would like to earn some extra money. I'll pay $10 an hour for hand addressing the envelopes and getting the stamps and, typing the letters and getting the letters duplicated, all the things I don't have time to do. And one of my past clients' daughter's home from college. So now I'm having brunch with my past client. Who knows where that's going to go? And I also have a relationship with her daughter. And so who knows where that's going to go? But in the meantime, I'm sending out letters I just started this month. So I'll be sending out letters every single month to try and find off-market homes. And that's our best thing right now to stay current with the market. Very honestly, we have to figure out how to find those off-market homes. You can buy them. You can buy the lists of them. And I've done that too. But I can pay $200 for one lead that may or may not turn out, or I can pay $200 a month and hit 200 homes and maybe have 2 to 3 returns on that investment.
You said you send out 200 letters?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what you need to, so because you're in PC, what you can do is you can send it, so what I do is I go into FMLS. I'm just turning into a different mastermind, but that's okay. I go into FMLS and I look up homes in the area that I want to look in. Let me just share that with you. back to goal setting, one of your goals might be to have a plan A or a plan B. And also you might, if we have a downturn in our market, you might decide that you want to really cultivate investors, or you might want to become an investor when the property values are lower and there's opportunities to be had. Okay, so I'm going to FMLS. This is how I do my search. And I'm old school, so there's probably a better way to do this in Remind. But I'll say, okay, I want to work in Alpharetta. And I'm going to say year built. I don't really want to deal with homes that need a lot of updating because that takes time and then I'm delayed on the market and I want to hit the market now. So I'm going to type in homes from 2010 through 2017. And then I'm going to say I want to work in the price range of 450 to 650. I could put in up to $1 million if I wanted to. And I've got 862 matches. So let me narrow that down. I'm going to say 650 to 700, 147 matches. Let me say 700, 725, 63 matches. Okay, well, let me look at that. So I'm going to go to results. And I can put my cursor here and it will sort by the community, which is what I want to look at. So I'm looking at Webb Ridge Preserve and I'm seeing that there's a bunch of closed homes. I'm looking at Manor North. I know that community. They've got a bunch. That's a big community. Kimball Bridge Walk, Enclave at Glen Abbey. That's a nice community. It's a larger community. So then what I would do is I would send to Bill. I would say, Bill, could you ask Luth to send me all of the addresses that are just in the Enclave at Glen Abbey, just in the Enclave at Glen Abbey. I don't want the 1,500 surrounding addresses. I just want the ones in Glen Abbey. And she might send back 84. So then I know I need to do another couple of communities for the month. So then I maybe look at, I've sold in Cananero. That's got maybe 10 homes, 15 homes. Blue Valley, I like Blue Valley. And Blue Valley has a lot of homes. So there's a lot of newer homes that we're in competition with. So I probably wouldn't choose them, but I might choose Windward, Lake Windward, right? So I might ask for homes in Windward as well. And then that might get me to my 200. Does that make sense?
Hang on a sec. So we look at this and you said you find the development, say like Webbridge or like you said, whatever one. And so who do we have to then email Bill to get the list?
So because you're in PC, you have access to full Realty resources, and that will pull addresses for us. So let me show you, for instance.
How do you spell that? Cool or?
COLE.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Let's see, what was my last one? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Okay, here's a community that I'm targeting. So she sends me something that looks like this.
Okay. And these are like people who live in that neighborhood or in that area.
Yeah. Hang on.
Okay, so I haven't even, okay, I didn't know this was existed. Okay.
Yeah.
This is great.
So then I go over here. Can you still see my screen? Are you seeing my list?
Yes.
Okay. So then I get this
Yes.
list. So then I'll show you a little Excel if you don't know it. I go over here to format and I auto fit column within, and it spreads it out. I don't want this column. I don't want, for the person that I'm sending it to, I don't want these columns. I just want her to have the address. But I also know that more than likely David in this community probably has a spouse. So then I have to go into tax records. And the way that I would do that is I would go back into FMLS and I would go to tax records and I would just search this address. And then I would add another column that says, I've got to do this today, David and Mary. So she can address the envelope to David and Mary search, or Peter and Donna Velasek, or Michael and Dan Doyle, whatever it is, whoever because you want to make sure you don't cut out one of the owners. So there's a little bit of work involved in this. But then, and I know right now this community has what, 50 homes. So I'm not quite at my 200 this month, but I'll get there. So anyway, that's what I do. That's how I do that. And the letters.
And when you send them out letters, Candace, what do you send them out? Is it market updates or the golden letter? What do you send out first?
I just send out the golden letter first. I start with a very simple one because I don't actually have a buyer for this community. So if I have a seller, then I'm going to have some buyers for the community, and then I can change my letter up to be more specific. But right now I have to be integrous. So I just say, we have more buyers than we know what to do with. And we, it basically says we have more buyers than we know what to do with. And we're committed to helping those who want to sell their homes sell in this extremely unique market. And would you be interested in selling your home? I have, let's see, on my desktop, I have golden, let me type in golden letters. It's not coming up. It's one of my folders in here, and I've collected all the golden letters that they showed in all of the team meetings. And so I use a variation of those. I think the one, let me see if I have letters here. Letters.
So then after you send them out the golden letter, do you put them like on a smart plan, or if there's a number on there, or like do you call them, or do you like do door knock afterwards?
So since this is my first month doing it, I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time for prospecting for myself. So here's one of the letters. This isn't the one I send out, but this is an example of one. If you send me your emails, I'll send you my folder once I find it somewhere on my desktop. And this one just says we may have a buyer ready to pay top dollar for their home. So this is a great letter. I love this. So yes, but I'll put them on a follow-up plan. So I'll send out the letter. First thing is I'm going to see if anybody raises their hand and says, hey, come list me, which is what I'm hoping for. But in the meantime, I'll send out to, I've been thinking about how I'm going to follow up, and I think I might do a newsletter and send out a handwritten card saying, hey, if you'd like to subscribe to the newsletter to find out what's happening in your market, in your home, in your community, in your in Alpharetta, please let me know and I'll be glad to include you. And just all I need is this. I also want to get very sophisticated and hire somebody to set up a landing page that captures a contact form. And I'll probably start directing them to my Google business page. And then there's a place there where they can request an appointment, and that will go to the landing page. And I know there's a way to set it up in Command. I just haven't had a chance to figure that out. But that's probably the way I'm going to do. And then I'll just periodically send them handwritten something with a CMA in it, or I'll do a pop by. I might do I probably won't do door knocking in that neighborhood because it's a non-solicitation neighborhood, but I'll do a pop by with something cute, packet of seeds, or I might say, hey, this is, October is the time of year for garage sales. So let me know if you'd like to have my blog on how to create the most profit from your garage sale. And I have that written up. If anybody wants to borrow that, I'm glad to send it to you. So I'll just keep figuring out ways that I think that I, as a homeowner, would like to have somebody approach me with value, and I'll try and do that for them. And I'm going to set up we're going to do a class on a 12-month marketing plan and what that looks like. And that can be a month-to-month thing that we do. So we'll set up that follow-up after that. Great question. And I haven't figured it all out yet.
Thank you.
But as I do, I'll let you know. So any questions about, go ahead.
Okay, so I keep hearing everybody, they keep saying, I'm going to send out the the newsletters, or I'm going to put somebody on a drip campaign. I don't even know how to make a newsletter. And then if your clientele is not in a specific, if they're not all in the target area, because my areas are, I'm all over the place. I don't have one specific area. So it depends on the buyer, it depends on the person who I'm trying to list with. How do I make a newsletter to service these people? Or am I even at the point where I need it, or should I wait till I get more of a consistent business in one targeted area?
So your newsletter can be very general. And so, for instance, you can partner with our lenders and our closing attorneys. You could say, could you write a little blog for me? You know, a 2-paragraph thing about tips for a successful closing, or what would you like to talk about? What do you think that it's important to talk about? And would you just write up a little something that I could include in my newsletter? Would you be willing to write a column every month that I could share with my database? It's going to get them more business. So more than likely they will. Same for the lender. You might have them do a FHA loan 1 month, VA loan 1 month, how to repair your credit 1 month, how to max or down payment assistance programs. And that way you don't have to come up with all the content. And then your blog might be the market statistic. Your column might be, are you thinking about selling a home? Well, here's some ways to get your home ready to sell. And you're going to Google what it is. I mean, I can sit here and I can Google what.
No, that was great, because, you know, in my head, what I always thought a newsletter was, I think I'm getting it confused with kind of like giving like a market snapshot or a neighborhood snapshot. So, and I was so apprehensive about it because I'm like, my people are all over the place, and some of them are not even homeowners. You know what I mean? They may be renting, they may be in New York or wherever. So I didn't know what content that I was going to have to, you know, get to them.
Yeah. So you just have something for buyers, something for educating, and you're going to get educated as you do this too. So it's a great, you know, I like hacks. You know, 1 action creates 3 things. So you're learning, you're servicing buyers, you're servicing sellers, you're getting a chance to do a little research. I mean, for instance, I just Googled this, how to get your house ready to sell. It's called, instead of research and development, it's called rip off and duplicate. So I'm going to take some of these ideas, I'm going to make it mine. And then I'm going to write a little column for my newsletter. Take it. So just very honestly, it takes me about half an hour to prepare for a class that I'm going to teach to you all. And it's because I have all of this technology, all of this internet information at my fingertips. So I can Google best ideas for goal setting, and I come up with 10 different sites that have 10 different ideas that I can pull from, the ones that I think will be most appropriate for you. And so I'm saying you could write your column in about half an hour with a little bit of research. And then you could take a poll in your Facebook and say, what would you all like to know this month? I'm focusing my newsletter to serve your needs. Do you want to know more about what to do to buy a home, or what to look for when buying a home? Or do you want to know more about how to get your home ready, or what kind of topics would you like to see in the newsletter? And people will tell you. People will say, oh, I want to know about, you know, or do you need a good vendor list? I mean, 1 month could be, hey, here's a vendor list for you to use based on my database and people that they have used. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can serve people, and this is where it gets kind of creative and fun. But borrow the content. You don't have to there's nothing new in the world, right? Nothing new. So borrow the content, make it yours. Borrow from our partners. You might have an inspector and say, could you tell us the top 10 things that are shown on an inspection, and what people can do about those, and then post the vendor list of the electrician who fixes the double tapped electrical outlets, or you have the plumber who fixes the leaky faucet, or the tub that still drains when the shower's on, that kind of thing. So, but I would definitely do a survey. Maybe come up with the topics in your survey, and let people have a choice so that they don't have to create the idea. Just say, would you rather have a vendor list this month, tips for selling your home, tips for buying a home, or top 10 inspection items? And then let them pull it on your social media. And then you can do it around that. And then I would post your newsletter, or I would post at least your column from your newsletter onto LinkedIn. as long as you haven't, copyright infringed, you've made it yours, you've changed up the look of it, you've changed up, I would change set a listing price to pricing correctly. That would be my tweak on that, price correctly. And I would say 30 days before. I mean, I might have 30 days to be able to do that, but I would definitely do it the day of the listing appointment, in case there's something that closed the day before. So I can see already some ways to do this. I would change this to professional staging consult or professional staging consultation. And anything that I put together, you guys can have. So if you just email me and say, hey, I need your blog on the garage sales, and then you can tweak it or use it just like it is. I don't have anything copyrighted, and I just feel like there's so many people in this world where the likelihood of us competing for the same buyer or seller is this big. It's big. And I wouldn't do that anyway. I don't want to compete with you all. So anyway, that's kind of how I do things. And you can also hire companies that will do your newsletter, but I like to do it. I like to do my own little blogs. That's something I enjoy. I enjoy the research and I enjoy the tweaking of it. So, and you could get together. I mean, this is the other thing when I talk about teamwork and PC, you all have each other. You could sit together in a group and brainstorm the topic for the newsletter for that month, or put together a 12-month newsletter topic agenda, and then each one of you contribute, and then all do the same thing. And then you don't have to recreate it all by yourself every single time.
That's a great idea. It's
That's
not like
awesome
we have to
information.
take
Yep.
time.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep. Great
Collaborate,
information.
everyone collaborate like one thing. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the, we have the biggest team at the market center, the PC team. And so the relationships that you build in PC are just exactly what you need at this point to be able to not have to be the expert at everything all of a sudden. So utilize each other and make it fun, get together, go get a couple of glasses of wine at a place where you can sit and talk, bring your notebooks or your computers and say, okay, let's get this knocked out. We're going to get the first 6 months knocked out and then do it again in another month. And then you're golden.
That's a great idea. We can meet. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, make it, our job, we have some tough things in our job, but most of it can be really fun. And so it's just, it's figuring out what's fun to you and then making that happen. So, and I'll be glad to join you for the glass of wine and the brainstorming.
I love a good glass of wine, so I'm there.
Well, there's more of us here right now, so that's wonderful. Yeah.
And if that's something that we want to do on the launch masterminds, we could definitely work on the launch mastermind. We can have the launch mastermind. If I have an RSVP and I know how many people are going to show up, we could definitely go. I mean, 12 is a little early for me to start having a glass of wine, but we could change. we could have a debrief, a launch mastermind debrief on Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. and go have happy hour somewhere and brainstorm. So I'm glad to do that. We can definitely do that. Does Friday afternoon work for everybody?
After like 2 weeks, yes. After 2-3 weeks when I get back.
Let's do that. Yeah, 3 weeks because I'm on vacation the week of the 2nd through the 9th. And I'll be doing morning huddles probably. Not the 6th, I won't, and not the 9th, I won't, but I'll do it every other day. But yeah, so let's say 3 weeks from now we get together and put our 12-month marketing and then we can meet again and do some follow-up plans and get those things knocked out. And then we'll share them with other people, right? And we'll invite
that'd be
other
great.
people. Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That'd be perfect.
And then we just need to decide, because I know we all live all over the place, so we just need to decide on a central location where we want to meet. So I'll leave that up to you all to get together and decide where.
I'm on board.
Okay.
Okay, deal, guys. Any questions
Right.
for today?
This is great. Thank you, Candace.
You're so welcome. I want, if I could say anything to you, it would be only believe the thoughts that get you success. The thoughts, the self-doubt and the I need to be the expert and all those self-limiting beliefs, just You know, write them down on a piece of paper, burn them, tear them up, do whatever, stomp on them, because each one of you has the potential to walk in this office and be on the ALC this time next year, if that's what you want to do. But you have the ability to be in the top 20 or the top 10 or the top 1. Each of you has the ability to be the rookie of the year. And the only difference between you and the rookie of the year is the mindset and the work done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just know I think of you all as champions. And I'm probably going to be
Thank you so much.
at some point when you walk in the office, I'm going to be like, how did you do that? How did you do 50 sales last year? And that'll be okay.
I welcome the conversation. I can't wait to get there.
Or, hey guys, can I be on your team, please? I know that's what I know about. So, all right, have a great weekend. I will see you on.
You guys too. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't
Bye.
forget your personal acronym. Don't forget your alarm. That's your action steps for today. Your personal acronym and setting your alarm with the things you want, the 3 words you want to describe you next year.
Perfect.
As your best potential.
All
All
right.
right.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.